All right, so talking more about this movie here. Scary movie there. Truth or Dare, Critical Madness. Um, Not really. I thought it was scary when I saw it when I was around 10 or 11. But when I finally got the movie and I finally watched it again after around 30 years later, it was like it was hyped up for me because of how I remembered how it affected me when I was a kid. But the movie was not scary at all when I saw it again as an adult. I'm not even sure, like, when I saw it when I was around 10 or 11, I'm not even sure how much of it I actually saw. So I probably just saw a little bit of it, and I just felt it was too scary, and I didn't watch any more of it. But when I watched it as an adult, I watched the whole thing, and definitely did not affect me the same way. So that's kind of funny. I suppose probably because of like maybe a little bit of it might be because of being exposed to, well, really scary movies and uh, more realistic special effects. Uh, that might be part of the reason why I didn't find it scary as an adult. There was actually there was actually kind of some humor in this movie. This Truth or Dare, a Critical Madness movie, which is kind of funny. It's kind of funny there was some funniness in it, since I just had this memory of being really scared of it, but now I just thought it was a little bit funny. Not all of it, just a few times in the movie. But that's a common thing. Uh, I've heard uh, in horror movies to have at least sometimes the strategy is to have uh, moments of humor to relax the audience, and that way when they have the scary moments in the movie, they're not expecting it because they're relaxed because of the humor that was in the movie. So they're not just like terrified through the whole thing. Although some movies are terrifying through the whole movie, in my opinion. So low budget movies, in my opinion, can sometimes be scary. Or at least I definitely felt that when I was younger. That was an observation I had made when I was younger about low budget movies. So that's definitely that's definitely what this is. That's definitely what this is. So it's a low budget movie, a B movie. So especially if you're like if you're used to higher budget movies, the realism of those types of movies compared to the lower budget realism uh, movies, uh, kind of like it kind of like when I was younger, I kind of it because they were low budget, I got this like impression of like the realism was like documentary style because the cam I guess the cameras um, I don't know what it is. Like, why does it appear low budget? Is it the cameras or the lighting? I guess it's the cameras, cinematography of it, where it just appears. Um, at least back during this time period, during the '80s, like it just appears more realistic, like like what I guess because like what you would use with like a video camera like that you would purchase in a store, rather than like as compared to the higher budget movies where they have the bigger cameras. So like home video footage. Uh, so I felt like because it appeared to be like similar to home video footage in the lower budget movies, it was more realistic because I felt like I was maybe it seemed more familiar, the the footage of the low budget movies. So that's what I felt back then about that, and even about specifically another movie that was low budget, that was a scary movie, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So what the first time I saw that, and even a few times after that, like I even now I still like uh that's I still believe that's a very scary movie. Like some movies are labeled scary movies, but they're not really that scary. But the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that's still definitely a scary movie. Uh, I still think the movies that I mentioned in the last video are scarier than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but because like I could still watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It would probably still bother me, but not to the level of the movies I mentioned in the last video. But yeah, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like there's definitely some grossness in it, and some uh, there's a little bit of humor in that, a little bit, but a lot of it's disturbing and kind of difficult to watch. Uh, Definitely scary. That was a well-made scary movie. But the so that was kind of a low-budget movie, and so I think that was made in the '70s. I think I don't own it, so I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that was like that was even made in the '70s. I think so. That was made a long time ago, and it was a low-budget movie. Um, at least it appeared to be. So when I watched it the first time, so like I was saying, uh, it had this like, in my opinion, it had this feel of like, because it was a low budget movie, it had this like documentary style home video footage uh, appearance to it. So that was part of the reason why I thought it was so scary. Other than what was going on in the movie, which was definitely scary. So some low budget movies, not all of them. Some low budget movies are definitely uh, scary. It's been a while since I saw the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but just thought it was an interesting observation that sometimes low budget movies can be scary. Not sure if anyone else would agree with that, but uh, that's how I felt. That's how I feel about it. At least at one time. But I think I still agree with that. It's just some movies, some movies, even low budget movies are definitely like they're just crappy uh, and not scary. I guess you can credit the director, Toby Hooper. Anyway, so back to this movie, Truth or Dare, A Critical Madness. Okay, so now I want to do like a description summary of the movie. So here's where the spoilers comes in. Yeah, I just feel like I'm just gonna I'm just gonna describe stuff that happened in the movie, and so it would probably ruin uh, it probably ruins some stuff for anyone who wanted to watch it. But maybe if by hearing the stuff that I'm talking about for the movie in the movie, maybe it might make you curious about it. Maybe you want to see what I'm talking about. Okay, so what happens in the movie? So it's a guy who comes home from work and he walks in on his wife cheating on him. And then he remembers through flashback scenes how his wife was going to possibly talk to him about the marital problems that they were having, or maybe she was going to say that maybe she was going to admit to him that she was seeing someone else. So the main character was there were he was remembering uh, through the use of the flashbacks. He was remembering like the times where she was about to tell him, and so someone and like okay, well I'll get to it. I think I have this on my notes here. Yeah. Okay. So one of the flashbacks, someone was on the phone. Uh, so the phone rang and his wife picked it up, and she was talking to someone on the phone, and so he was a little farther away, so he probably didn't hear what she was saying. He just saw that his wife was on the phone with someone. Um, but then I think he was like, "Oh, who was that?" And she just said wrong number, which seemed kind of strange because if it was a wrong number, she probably wouldn't have been on the phone with them for as long as she was. It looked like about a minute or so, but still, like typically, I would think like if it's a wrong number, you would just say wrong number and then that's it. you wouldn't you wouldn't be on the phone for too long with someone if it was just a wrong number. So it kind of probably seemed a little strange that she had said, "Oh, wrong number." Well, why were you on the phone with them for that long if it was just a wrong number? That's the impression I got from that. So I was thinking, well, maybe that's what he was thinking too. Um, at least when he was thinking about it afterwards, after he had caught her cheating on him. So it's implied that who she was talking to, that of course it wasn't a wrong number, that who she was talking to was the person who she cheated on with. Oh, there was I thought I had it in my notes. So the other one of the other flashbacks was hmm, uh was they were in a restaurant and she said, I think she said, I have something to tell you. And then he interrupted her, I think, talking about his work. Uh, I don't remember if it was like a promotion thing or what, but and then he said, well, what did you have to say? And then she said, oh, never mind. So that was one of the flashback moments where he was like remembering back to that was a moment where she might have said, "Oh, by the way, or we need to talk." Uh, and he also gave her a gift at that time, a watch that had an alarm on it that was similar to his watch that also had an alarm on it. So probably made it awkward for her. Like he just gave her a gift, so it was probably awkward for her to then admit to cheating on him or that they're having marital difficulties. So that was the flashbacks that he was remembering this after he uh, caught her cheating on him.